Welcome, my family. Another edition of the Stretch Run. Special guest today, Mr. Scotty McKeever. Been lots of talk I've seen. Many people wondering where he's been. So we will find out. I will hang with you for a bit. He will join us here in a little while. He'll be on Chat EquinEdge. What's been going on with EquinEdge? What's been going on behind the scenes? We'll handicap some races. Scott, welcome. Mike, John, Bluegrass Dan, it's been a while, buddy. It's good to see Chuck, all of you guys. Oli, his day job is occupying him today, so he couldn't join us. I reached out to Scotty, right? And I was like, hey, time to come on the show for a bit. So he was up for it. He'll be here in a little bit, but I hope everybody's doing well. I had not played the horses for I don't know, it had been a little bit, didn't play very much the last couple of weeks. And it was good to take a little break, to be honest. But I'm glad to be here with you guys. We'll cover some Woodbine. It looks like that's up in about 8 minutes. Gulfstream Park and Pimlico. Belmont Stakes is coming. John, are you going? Looks like John was asking you guys. I am not going. I've never been to Belmont, but it would be a place I would love to go. I know, Scott. Oli's been on fire. It's good to see, man. I saw he didn't hit the that mandatory pick 6 the other day, but he did hit the golden hour, which was good. You know, he's been on fire for a show. Well, have fun, John. Oli's a great handicapper. I love doing the show with him. Wiz, good to see you. I've been doing the coaching classes. It's so much fun, everybody. It's if you haven't joined, encourage you to do so. I know Wiz, you join occasionally, and many others. So Scott, he hit the golden hour pick 4. I saw that. I think he hit it twice because of scratch, right? Paid a little over $3,000 if I remember correctly. That was they singled the 5 horse at Golden Gate. That was the pace of the race. We will try to do the same thing today at Gulfstream Park, to be honest with you. Maybe 5s will be lucky on the lead. All right, let's talk some Woodbine. I appreciate everybody being here. Happy Friday. I hope you all, it's June. Do you guys believe it? It's already June. My kids are still in school. They go to school for another 3 weeks, I think. But I know a lot of kids are out of school. Bill, not much, brother. Just here to handicap some races. I thought the Gulfstream Park card was really interesting, to be honest. It obviously, with all the jockeys in New York and Kentucky and everybody, it's much different racing, right? But the late, if anybody played the pick 6, good luck. I think it's going to be tough. It looked very tough to me. So we will see if that is true. But Woodbine here in 5 minutes, you know, I'll do some handicapping since it's just myself. We'll kind of do it on the fly. I did look at all the races, but, you know, this first race, it looks like there was a couple scratches. I handicapped this last night. I did think the 1 horse was a little bit interesting just because the pace here on the synthetic up at Woodbine. This horse, 5th season, is coming off a layoff. It's run well kind of off the pace in the past, but it is going 1 churn, right? And it's been going 2 churns. So I think it's a little bit interesting, but, 0% trainer. You have big chalk here, really, in the 4 horse. The win percent goes from 8 to 48%. This horse is taking a big drop coming out of Oaklawn Park. The GSR goes up 7 points. Scott, good to know. I don't think it has not rained yet, but that's good to know. But they're on the dirt in the Tapeta, so but we'll have to see how that impacts us. We'll cover the pick 5 here in a minute at Gulfstream, but over at Woodbine, this 4 horse, it looks very tough, to be honest. So I think in this case, I would probably just, if I was doing an exacta, try to find somewhere to put underneath this horse. I mean, it's going to be the pace of the race. Coming from these much tougher races at Oaklawn, it drops into a claimer. in this thing, they're just kind of putting up for a claim, in my opinion. So I would expect Bend in the River to be the winner. So I think, in my mind, how do you make any money? You got to find the horse that's going to come in second, right? And the 2-horse One Punch Charlie, this horse was the long shot at one point, but it flipped to the 3, who I don't even have in here, but this horse is 5%. But the 2-horse was the long shot at one point, I think, before all the scratches of the 5 and 6. So, I think there's a little bit of interest there, I would say. Has been racing here at Woodbine. It's dropping in class as well. The win percent really skyrockets, right? 52 SOR here. Previous is 9, goes up to 21. GSR goes up 6 points. This horse is dropping, so you'd expect it to run better. It's been facing much, much tougher. So finally gets a drop. So I don't know if this horse can win. The 3, this horse is probably going to try to show some speed, but it looks to be pretty outclassed, in my opinion, from just its running lines here of facing a horse like the 4-horse, which has been running seconds and force over on the dirt. But, and you look here, look at the money that this 4-horse has made on the synthetic track. We can't see it, right? As prior to these last, it was early in its career, which I'm assuming if you have PPs, you could see was probably here at Woodbine, maybe at Gulfstream Park, but, probably not Gulfstream, because that'd have been before they had the synthetic horse. So this horse must have made a bunch of money on the synthetic and now gets back to it. So I don't really see the 3 as a player. I think the 4 is gonna win. Ticket generator, I just try to play this thing cold. Wants to play the 1 and 2. It's tossing the 7. I can look at this horse real quick. Big morning line, which then was cut with the scratches, currently 3-1, second off the layoff. It's going to try to come off the pace. It's dropping a little bit in class. GSR says, should appreciate the Tapeta, but it hasn't really been running. So I don't know the connections there. They had 11%, but nothing spectacular, I would say, in my opinion. So what do we got? We got 2 minutes. Again, I think the 4 on top. I do think, the 1 is this horse. This horse is really 14-1. I did think this horse was interesting. It does get a 0% jockey, but the trainer, I don't know Woodbine well enough, but 20%. And, the morning line is showing a lot of value here. So in my mind, I would use this horse in exacta because you're getting such a price. You could look in the probables, right? But you're getting such a price for second place, in my opinion, in such a short field, right? And this horse has run well off the pace before. I think the concern, though, right, and I talked about this as we started the show, is it's been going 2 churns predominantly as of recently. They've been running much longer, and now it's cutting back further. So that could be a problem, but horses coming off the layoff, again, for a good trainer, I wouldn't just use the chalk in second place. I would try to find and put this horse in second place because you're going to get so much value. You pay, an extra $1. He's probably going to pick the 4 too. Yeah. But you pay an extra $1 and you're potentially getting, a 15-1 shot to come in second. So that's the way I would play it here. Mike, he'll be here in a little bit. He'll be here. What time is it? 2:10. He'll be here a little bit, probably about 2:45 Eastern. So probably the next half hour. But he's coming. He'll hang with us for a while this afternoon. And again, we'll cover Woodbine, Gulfstream, and some Pimlico. But he'll be here. All right, they're going in the gate. Over to 1-2. Be my play. Let me jump over to the video.
So late money for One Punch Charlie as the field is about to be sent away. And they're now all in, locked up. Off they run, and Commander Tom won the start. Taken up was 5th Season, dips 3 or 4 lengths behind the field, and going forward, Bend in the River to contest the early lead with Commander Tom. Over on the inside, One Punch Charlie from Striking Air, and all alone, losing touch completely, is 5th Season. Going up in front are both Commander Tom and Bend in the River. Commander Tom still about a neck clear, a length and a half away. One Punch Charlie and one to Striking Air. Another 9 lengths away last, 5th Season. This two up front. Little between them, Commander Tom on the outside, but Bend in the River comes through to hit the front narrowly. Right behind is Striking Air, coming home well for Rachel Slavinsky on the outside of One Punch Charlie, and tailed off his 5th Season. Back on the rails coming through is One Punch Charlie. Bend in the River's drifting out. Coming into second, Striking Air, and wide Commander Tom, and it's One Punch Charlie, the leader down the stretch. Striking Air pouncing, and they're clear of Bend in the River, who's not really getting into full stride. Down extremely wide, Commander Tom. Striking Air trying to get up and join One Punch Charlie, who's still in front. And out wide at Commander Tom. One Punch Charlie on the inside holding, and One Punch Charlie and Jodine Anderson by a half a length.
Well, hard for the 4 to race there in between, to be honest. But Steve, I didn't look there. Let's I'll flip over there. Give me 1 second. Get back to the dashboard. But let's talk Gulfstream, because I think that it's a good card. If I looked here real quick, I mean, you have this huge pace advantage on the 1 in the second race, if that's what you're looking at. If I look at this quickly, you could cut the 2. This horse is 1% is the long shot, but the 6, you can cut the 7. 5 horse going to come off the pace. So I think, when I'd be looking at this, can the 1 horse wire the field with such a pace figure, right? Lord Mayo, it has gotten an easy lead the last 2 in a 50 and a 54. And here it got an easy lead. Here it got pressed. So this horse might struggle to wire the field. It's still going 2 churns. GSR doesn't change. Win percent goes up, though. So that's a big pace advantage of 32 points, I would say, Steve. So I think you could, obviously the money's going on this horse to come off the pace, but this horse could be dangerous on the front end, I would say. Let's look at Gulfstream, though. I think this is an interesting card, to be honest. I really do. The 4 horse is EquinEdge's top pick and is 46%. It's the pace. It's the top GSR. It's somewhat lightly raced. It only has 4 races. Is a 3-year-old, and this horse has tried to wire the field the last couple times, has a big pace advantage here, though. It's just massive. So, in my opinion, I think this horse is going to be tough, to be honest. Yeah, you're welcome, Steve. I think it's going to be really hard. This horse just it's cutting back as well from 8 furlongs to 7. It has the apprentice aboard. This horse has one thing to do, and that's going to be go to the lead and try to wire the field. So this is not a great field at all. The 5 horse I thought was a little bit interesting from the perspective of it is dropping in SOR. So, the win percent goes from 13% to 21%. It's raced fairly well. Here it finished second in a 7-horse field in a 38. So from a class perspective, it is dropping in SOR. Lexi, it's good to hear from you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So I think that the 4 is going to be tough, but I personally am not going to single here. So I'll show you all my ticket. So I'm playing this for $180, and I'm going to use the 5 as well as the 4. I thought the 8, the EquinEdge long shot, obviously was a little bit interesting. This horse is, I put 0 for 18. This horse is 0 for 17. It needs a really big pace advantage, and this horse is going to show pace, but this horse may get loose. And I think from a class perspective, the 5 is the one that really only interested me. Again, it's dropping an SOR and it has run some nice races. So, I don't know who this trainer is. They don't have any wins or anything, but again, is 21%. So I thought that the 4 and 5 were the players here. The 8, I think, this horse is off the claim, right? Somebody claimed this horse in its 17th try, paid 10,000 for it. The win percent drops. It hasn't really been running very, it has been semi-competitive, right? Coming off the pace, at 2 churns, over at Tampa and then here sprinting. But Tony, welcome, buddy. Scotty will be here in a little bit. Yeah, Mike, I mean, I'm going to try to single elsewhere, but I think this horse could be tough. My only concern, to be honest, but it's, I'm not going to use anything more than 2 horses here, was, this horse has struggled to hold on. So, and it has the apprentice on, but I think that this horse at 4 to 5, I think it's a 2-horse race here. And to be honest, you probably could single here, right? Like if you wanted to, you could single the 4, but I'm going to try to beat this horse. I think it's going to be a lot of people's singles, but I'm not going deep here at all. So just 4 or 5 here when we have 4 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Looks like Claudia likes the 5 as well, but too deep. The Traveler, welcome, buddy. Thanks for being here. So, but I thought some of these other legs were difficult. I really did. So the next leg, race 5, they're on the Tapeta course, going 2 churns, no more turf racing. I don't think at Gulfstream Park anymore right now. I don't think it'll be back for a bit. I think that they closed the turf course down. So I think they're predominantly racing on dirt in the synthetic. So, 2 churns. I think there's a lot of pace here. The 2 is 5 to 1 on the E morning line versus 15 to 1 is the pace of the race. But I also, both these horses are coming off the turf, the 5 and 9. So if we look at the 2, Love My Job, pace of the race, it's predominantly shown speed. It showed speed here on the turf. GSR goes down 10 points. It hasn't necessarily got the lead, but when it did, it got an easy lead here and stopped in a 50. So it's going to try to do that on the Tapeta course. I think it's going to be tough, though. I think the 5, both these are 2% horses. I don't necessarily respect them at all. They both have shown speed going 2 churns on the turf versus easier, not able to win. The same with the 9. This horse did back here in a 36 on the turf, but both these horses, the 5 and 9, are dropping in GSR, right? So dropping 9 points here, dropping 3 points here, but mainly I just not using the pace here. But I think outside that, right? I think that it can be Razor. Did everybody see Razor's starting to do his own thing? Razor, you'll have to chime in here. But I saw on Twitter he quit the 9 to 5 and he's doing 9 to 5 Razor picks. I love it, buddy. I'm proud of you. That's incredible to hear that. And everybody support him. You can check him out on Twitter. But I'm sure he'll have his own shows and be going live, and it'll be great to see. So looks like we got a couple minutes, but outside that, I thought this race was fairly wide open. The 1 horse, I will tell you, I thought was really interesting. I mean, this horse is 19%, so second win percent. You're getting a really good price here, and it's 19% to win. It was 36% last out, and it won in a 38. So it is taking a big hike up in SOR. With all of that said, I will tell you, look at the GSR, right? And this horse wants to go on the Tapeta or the dirt. So toss the turf race here. It didn't necessarily run great here on the dirt. You could see, failed to menace, bumped at the start, but it really improved on the Tapeta, right? So if you get rid of a couple of these races and you go back here, I mean, this horse did run 3rd off the pace in a 54 maiden special weight. This horse only raced 6 times. So, you know, I think that this horse at a price with the pace, I do think it's going to be fairly hot, has a great chance to upset, I would say. With all that said, I used others, right, as well. I wasn't super confident there, but I do like this horse as a bet when we get to race number 5. So, you know, it's the GSR here on number 3, the EquinEdge long shot. It drops 8 points, but it isn't a long shot, and I was spreading, so it was a must use for me. Anytime I use approximately 3 or 4 horses, I'm going to look to spread. So, or look to use the EquinEdge long shot. So the 3 horse I thought was interesting, 11%. The 6 is 9%. This horse, you get back to 2 turns. It was sprinting last out. GSR goes up 10 points. It ran in a 66, so that was way too tough. Here in a 48, it ran third. So I think this is a tough race. I would not be surprised to see any of these prices. The 7 horse is obviously the favorite. It's going to come off the pace. I think with the pace of the race here, it's going to set up really nicely for the 7 horse, but I don't think it has to win. It's only 26%. It's likely to be the favorite, in my opinion. I think it'll probably go off as the favorite, not the 8. But the 8 gets back to the synthetic here and has run really well, to be honest. Look back here in a 48, ran well. 1 here in a 40 in the maiden. Has been on the turf, on the Tapeta. So I think that this horse has the opportunity to run. Looks like they're approaching the gate. I'll talk about my single for a minute. I'm going to single the 5 horse here. They're on the dirt. In the dirt, the speed can always be dangerous. So same thing here in the first race. The 4 horse, I think, could be a single as well. Looks like the 5 horse might go off as the favorite, which is rather interesting, to be honest. But here we have speed again. I don't really like the 6 horse at all. And as I started to go through these horses, I didn't really like much. And all I had to do was get past the 1. I'm singling the lone speed here in the 5 horse. Lord Jackson at a big price, comes off of a trainer change after a short layoff. I think this horse has the potential at a bottom level claimer to run and wire the field versus a pretty bad field. So I'm trying to single a price, which I normally do. This horse is 15-1 on the morning line. Maybe get chalk here in the first. We will find out. We'll turn it over to Pete. 2 deep here, the 4 and 5.
Storm and I Love Ireland. I Love Ireland. And Angelic Storm, the last 2 out of line.
8 horse really doesn't want to load. You can see that back there.
They're Rimigate. And they're off. Good start from between horses for my Baton Rouge, who heads off for the early lead. Trotting Gear and She's Red Hot on the go. Show Me Love makes it a party. They're 4 in line early. Good tracking spots for both Caravana and Angelic Storm ahead of I Love Ireland. The early trailer is Sprint Breaker. What was a 4-way scrum is now a clear lead for Trotting Gear. She's a length in front. Show Me Love is second. My Baton Rouge is now third. Caravana
4 went off
the
as
action
the
on
favorite.
full buff,
Not
3 off the lead in
surprising.
fourth. Dropping back is She's Red Hot, passed inside by Angelic Storm. Then it's a gap of 3 to Sprint Breaker, and I Love Ireland is at the back. 22-4 for the opening quarter. They leave the backstretch and move on to the far turn. Trotting Gear by a length and a quarter. My Baton Rouge poised to strike in a flanking position second. Running home from the back is Angelic Storm. 3 wide, Show Me Love, at the rail, Caravana. So these top 5 in contention here as they go past the half in 46-3. Vanessa's knifed between horses on Angelic Storm, and she's on a move. 3 wide to take on Trotting Gear, and My Baton Rouge with a quarter of a mile left to go. Angelic Storm is now put ahead in front. From between horses, My Baton Rouge, Trotting Gear cuts the corner and tries to fight back. But out in the center, it's Angelic Storm with all the momentum. And now she's a clear leader. Fighting on is a Trotting Gear with My Baton Rouge, but they're fighting on for second and third as a sharp mover.
That's a quick ticket. But no, yeah, so it's gonna finish third. You know, I almost used the 8 horse there too. Well, not a good start, but I will play my pick 4 back for 90 maybe. 87.50. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. But yeah, Tony, I thought, but the horse didn't really get an easy lead, which I talked about being a problem. And the EquinEdge long shot was there for the taking, to be honest, right? So, you know, from a handicapping perspective, you know, horse took a lot of money, was the long shot, 0 for 17, but got a perfect kind of pace set up in a very cheap race. You know, I mentioned this is a really bad field. You know, this horse was 4 to 5, but like it didn't get it. I mean, look at the pace here. So the 6 showed speed, had no, like, if you add all these horses back, you know, the 9, I can't remember if the 9 showed speed, but it was really bad. I mean, it was just a bad field, but to be honest, this horse didn't get a really easy lead, right? So if we jump back over here, the 4 had a big pace figure, but it didn't really matter. I mean, it didn't get there. You can see if we jump back, they're showing the replay here, right? You can see that it didn't get really an easy lead. You know, 7 showed speed, 6 showed speed. So you would have hoped that horse would have shown a lot more speed, but did not. Then kind of rushed up, perfectly set the race up for the 8, made it look easy. Great ride by Miguel Vasquez, I think, if I remember. Marco Meneses. Yeah, it was Meneses. So went to 25%. The horse was off the claim. And I talked about all the great things of it. Didn't put it in my ticket, but you know, this horse being off the claim in 0 for 17, just much the best. It didn't even. This horse was somewhat vulnerable, right? Because again, 36 and a 38 SOR, and this horse stopped. What did it do today? It stopped. So I think if you actually going back and handicapping it right after the fact, it's all there to be had in everything, but I handicapped it wrong. So, you know, gonna happen, I guess. I mean, you can see here again, 36, 38, 34 drops 2 points, but easy lead here. I talk about this all the time, actually. Easy lead on the 4 horse here, you know, and stops and loses by 3.5 lengths, which is exactly what it did today, but it didn't even get an easy lead, right? It ended up getting pressured and kind of had to race in between and, you know, really struggled, to be honest. So there's the 8, Meneses 2 wins, nice price, 4 to 1. I think this pick 5 is gonna pay really well. I really do. There's very tough races, I would say. The last race I think is fairly tough in my opinion. So looks like Pimlico race number 5 already went off. That's going on top of Gulfstream, so we'll skip that. Woodbine race number 4 coming up in 10 minutes. Yeah, Tony, we can jump to Belmont real quick since we have a little bit of time. What do we got? Race number 4. Well, we have 2 minutes. I'll quick handicap it. I didn't look at Belmont, but you know, look at the pace. Melting Snow's the favorite. So I think from that perspective, you know, you have a couple horses with pace, in my opinion, right? You end up having the 2 and the 7. The 7 horse is 3 for 4 at the distance, a big GSR of 74, 36%. So, I mean, this horse is the horse to beat, right? So it's been the favorite a ton of times. It's won as the favorite 4 out of 5 times. Made it look really easy. I mean, won by 15 lengths, won by 10 lengths. Didn't run here last out was claimed on April 6th at Aqueduct. And, I mean, is it going to come back today and run? What happened? It was bumped weekend. It was the same strength of race. So you kind of wonder what happened, to be honest. That is a little bit interesting, I would say. It's going to show speed. It's going to be an outside post. It was on an inside post there, so maybe it didn't like that, to be honest. But it did win on the rail, and it's won here. And so this horse has been very, very popular. I mean, look at that, claimed at 16 all the way to 40. So I think the 7 will be tough, but I think the 2 is just there from a pace. This horse doesn't fit. It's been facing much easier. Get rid of you. The 3 horse, this horse is going to have to be able to rate. Can it? It is the long shot, but I don't necessarily see it. It runs good races, but it hasn't really been able to rate, to be honest. I'm gonna pull up the video on my iPad since we can't watch it. So give me 1 second. But the Mon Petit Chu hasn't been able to rate really at all, right? 18%, 0 for 4. Run the Devil, this horse was able to in a 56 here, and then predominantly it's shown some ability, but been facing much easier. Is the second EquinEdge pick though. So, might have the potential to try to sit off the speed there. Is the second EquinEdge pick off the claim. We just saw that horse win at Gulfstream Park off the claim. So might have the opportunity to improve there. Is the second pick, if the 7 gets into a duel there with the 2, essentially who can try to pick up the pieces and sit off the pace, right? The 1 horse, this horse is been able to come and stalk the pace versus similar SORs, right? Didn't run last out, second time off the claim. So this horse was claimed by Linda Rice, has also been popular in the claiming box, similar to the 7, right? This horse has been claimed a ton, continually steps up in class, has been running really well, except for last out. Customer experience, this horse has shown the ability to come off the pace, except for, off the claim here in the 66, wasn't able to, but it is dropping back in class, right? So it's dropping down a level, comes out of allowance and drops back into a claim. So back here, when it was claimed, they're getting it back. They stepped it up in class. Now they're bringing it back down. The win percent goes up. So I think the 1 definitely has the betting public sees it too. I mean, it's getting bet to 2-1, but I think this horse is a bit interesting. It's 2 for 7 at the distance. The 4 hasn't won. The 6 is 2%. We won't even look there. This horse has been claimed a couple times. Claimed off Linda Rice last out. It's ran okay at these SORs. Win percent back to 8%. It won in a 60. So, it's going to be coming off the pace for Lascano. Did they go yet? No, they're still behind the gate. So looks like the 7's the favorite. I think, this horse is going to run well. It's shown ability to sit right off the pace. It is 36%. It has been running really well at these strength of races. It romped here, in a 64 and was racing versus much easier here. My only concern is this last race of what happened. And it was 3 wide, it was bumped, and it kind of weakened and gave it up. The win percent is much less. So the source I would say is probably a little bit vulnerable would be my concern. I think it's going to run first or second. Normally, the 3 is the long shot. Long shot just got us at Gulfstream Park. GSR goes back to a 62, so it gets back to 7 furlongs. I always like at 7 furlongs to see how people have run, just because it can be a somewhat tricky distance. So I think the 5 is not getting much love, but the 1 and 3 are definitely coming at this from an SOR perspective and class perspective. Again, a lot of these horses, the 7 off the claim, the 3 off the claim, the 1 is second off the claim. Looks like they're getting to the gate. Tony, the 1 source doesn't break good. It's going to be on the rail. Last time it was on the rail, it did not run. I'm not liking this horse at 2-1 being on the rail. I think I'd probably land on the favorite here, the 7. I don't think there's a lot here in the 2. I think the 7 can put it away. Maybe for me, I'd probably say the 5 gets up for second. This horse is going to have to improve, but it has been improving, and, it's off the claim. The win percent does drop a little bit, but Tony, I'd probably play the 7 over the 5. Traveler, Oldie has the day job, but good news, Scotty's going to join us shortly. So that's the best part. We will, we'll listen to this Belmont race. We can't show it, and then we'll jump back to live coverage.
Number 7, Melting Snow, completes the field. We're ready to go for race 4. And they're off. Melting Snow away well from the outside. Now moving up is a Mon Petit Chou. Mon Petit Chou has the lead. Run Devil is running in second. Melting Snow's on the outside in third. Customer Experience is down at the rail. Game Theory is next in 5th. And then it is Happy Sophia, who's in 6th. And it's a big break back to the trailer. JD's Vista in 7th. First quarter, 22-4, and it's a battle up front. Melting Snow on the outside. Mon Petit Chou is down at the rail. Melting Snow, the favorite, now with a nose in front of Mon Petit Chou. Right behind his Customer Experience in 3rd. Run Devil now back running in 4th. Then Game Theory and Happy Sophia. The battle continues. Mon Petit Chou and Melting Snow. The half was 46 seconds. Customer Experience is in 3rd. Now Melting takes over from Mon Petit Chou. It's Melting Snow in front into the stretch.
Well, 7 gonna win.
Second. Customer Experience being asked for more in 3rd. And Game Theory in 4th. It is Melting Snow.
I think the 1 will get up for second, but 7 made it look easy.
A 7-length lead. Customer Experience moves into second. Then Mon Petit Chou and a...
All right. Well, Traveler, yes, I'm happy that Scotty's going to join us too, because he hasn't been on in a long time. And I could see on Twitter, everybody was wondering where he's been. So, it's good to have him here. Mr. McKeever, welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Good to be
How
here.
are you?
I couldn't be any better, actually. Things are going really well. And I actually qualified for the NHC, which and I played in a couple of tournaments. I feel like I'm getting my mojo back, and I kind of needed a break is all. I've been here and I've been watching, but I just kind of needed to decompress, and I feel like I'm ready to get back and maybe start doing some shows.
You're going to get back to doing shows. People were talking about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm just trying. I want to change up the format just a little bit, Justin. But I miss the chat. That's the biggest thing, and I just wanted to figure out maybe just change up a little bit and kind of maybe like something fresh. And so I've kind of got some ideas, but I will definitely be back soon, for sure. But I'm just trying to figure out the format in which I want to do a show.
I love it. I love it. Well, there's Gulfstream I thought was a little bit interesting. We'll probably miss this Woodbine race. It looks like, let me check. I think I looked here real quick, Woodbine race 4. I thought that the one horse, the EquinEdge long shot, was actually interesting here on the turf. It's the top GSR. It's off a layoff. You know, it's 15% and it's going up. You know, it is off the layoff, which is a little concern, but I thought that this horse was interesting getting on the turf, Scotty, from a GSR perspective. And I know you and I have been talking about that. I did think the 3 horse was going to be tough, though. It looks like it could be Lone Speed, but I thought that the 1 might be able to improve getting over to the turf.
I agree. It's going up 15 from 3% to 15% win. The GSR goes up 5 points. The 3 is going to be tough, but it has proven to maybe burn a little bit of money. But it's not had a really easy lead like it might get here. So it looks like it's going to get a pretty easy lead. The only ones that are close in pace would be maybe the 6 and the 7. So it does have a big pace advantage. We'll see. It's also got the second top GSR. But at 8-1, and the EquinEdge morning line actually has this horse at 7-1 and 15%. I think you have to give this horse a big look for sure.
Yeah, I like the 3-1 here. I thought that the 6, it was just really there, and it probably isn't going to be able to run from a pace perspective and kind of gives it up. That's where I do think that 3 will be tough, Alan Diggs. But, you know, this horse, Midnight Rambling, you know, is off the claim for Atard, who claims it, runs 1 race and it runs fine. And then, you know, obviously the meet probably closes, they go to the farm, and then they're like, oh, we got to put this horse on the turf. And we know from a GSR that really should help improve. So yeah. I love that it gets the long shot angle too. So I really like the 3-1, to be honest. So
it's the reason I don't like the 6 horse. The only reason the 6 is going to be right there, probably pressing the 3. I don't like the 40 GSR. I don't think this horse wants to go 5 furlongs on the turf. And so I think the horse is going to stop. And that's why I think the 1 horse might be a really good horse to so I would probably do a bigger 3-1, and I would maybe you have to do a cover bet, you know, covering the 1. But there's nothing wrong with this 4 horse Hardware Gap. This horse is going to be in the money, I'm pretty sure. It looks good. It's got a low win percentage, but I'm not really concerned about that because the 3 horse has taken so much of the win percentage.
Yeah. I thought that the 4, this horse has shown the ability to kind of come off the pace and also gets back to the turf, right? So it had been over on the synthetic and now gets back at this level. So I agree with you. This horse probably hits the board and should run a good race.
Yeah, because if the 6 horse stops, I think the only horse that we're all not sure about possibly is the 5. And I know the 5 looks good on paper, but it is dropping. It's going on turf for the first time, and it's dropping to a 51 GSR. So I think at 2-1, this horse is worth trying to beat. So I'm throwing out the 6, 7, 5. I think the numbers have it correct. I think you're looking at a 1, 3, 4 in some sort of order. I prefer the 4 in the exotics, though. I think the winner is between the 1 and the 3.
Yeah, that I kind of changed my ticket as we were talking about that. And I was like, try to find a winner. The 1 is obviously the price. You would love to get like a 1-4, you know, and to me has so much, you know, there's so much upside at 10-1 with EquinEdge long shot versus your point in the 5. This horse wants to, like, they're putting it on the turf. So it's like the opposite. It's going the opposite direction. And as the 1, to me, you know, when you look, been racing versus a 46 and a 44, the 1 doing something fairly similar and running well, but gets the right surface where the 5 is not. So
right. Is Woodbine taking off? Are we getting ready for Woodbine?
Yeah, they're like wandering behind the gate. So they're
okay. I was wondering. I just actually logged into my betting account. I'm like, okay, do I want to make a couple of bets right now? I kind of yeah. You know, I love races like this where you really don't like. I don't really like the 5 nor 6, and I like stuff like that, especially when you're looking at the 5 horse at 2-1. We'll see. This horse runs a good race from an outside post. If you look at the 5 horse Love to Win, it broke from the 6th hole. So only 5 other horses had a perfect trip and still lost the race against a similar group, but the GSR goes down 10 points. So I think this is the type of horse that you want to try to beat for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what, they're just hanging out back there. So
and by the way, thank you to everybody for your kindness on here. I appreciate that. It's nice. I miss you guys as well.
They've been called up.
But yeah, no, you know, just I was really struggling with my handicapping a bit, and I really feel like I've dialed it in. and I found some new ways of using the tools. And I really feel like I'm in a good place. Like I've been handicapping really solid and really easily. It hasn't been that tough on me. And I haven't bet a lot because I've really been trying to take a back seat and focus on the handicapping side. But on the handicapping side, I've really been picking some horses and getting some long shots as well.
Well, I love hearing that. And it's always, you go through those rough patches and it's like your point, you take a step back and do things a little bit differently, focus on handicapping, and it usually all comes back around.
So obviously the 3 horse is going to be on the lead. The 5 and the 6 have some speed. It'll be interesting to see if they press the 3, the 1 or 4 will win. And so this is just going to really come down to betting. If you're not exactly sure what to do, probably you're safe doing like a 1, 3, 4 exacta box. And then of course, whenever you get a horse like the 1 at 9-1, I think you've got to put a win bet on it, don't you?
So I did. Yeah, that's what there's the 5.
Oh man.
But
that's not a good thing. That's for us because I'd rather him be in the race and try to beat us. If they don't corral this horse quickly, then they're going to scratch him, which will really stink.
Well, they got the horse, which
they did. That was a really nice job by the outrider. That is not an easy job. I sent out, I don't know, about a year ago, I sent out on Twitter a video of a man. He was literally like 75 years old, and he corralled a horse. I want to say it was I don't know if it was in Australia where it was, but it was super, super impressive. You'd have to go back about a year in my feed, but it was. As a matter of fact, you want to know? That was maybe the biggest for me on likes. It got like 1,500 likes. I wish I got likes like that all the time. I get the opposite of likes.
Razor said he liked the 5 to win, and then he said, "Oh, never mind, scratch the 5."
Well, they haven't scratched it so far, and it's a small field, so they probably hoping that they don't.
They just scratched it.
Oh, they did. Oh man. No, that stinks. That really stinks. Yeah, that's a drag. Yeah. Oh, and Razor was gonna bet the 5. Wow. Well, now I'm really bummed out. I really wanted to see what the heck happened with that horse and see if this horse would have done any good, because I mean that's a big drop in GSR. Like 10 points is a big drop. So I wish that horse was still in the race. That's a bummer. And officially, it just got scratched on our website.
That was pretty quick. I just saw
that. Yeah, we've really been working on the automation and the real time on the site. That's a really great example right there. The information came in and bam, it was scratched. Really nice. That now the only horse going to be even close in pace to the 3 is the 6, and I mean this horse's form is not bad, Justin. It's just that it's dropping a lot on turf. It's run a couple of times. If you look at the times that it's run on the turf, it showed some speed before stopping. So you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, this horse, where do you see it passing horses and finishing? I don't know. I mean, maybe that last race a little bit, but that also was 8 points higher in the GSR.
Yeah, win percent's about the same. Same jockey continually rides. I mean, this horse that was the one time it showed that maybe it could rate and pass horses. Predominantly, it has not shown that ability to do it. And I just thought the 3 was so quick that this horse is going to just give it up. But
yeah,
it could be wrong. And that's where I really did think that the 1 had the ability to come off of that pace. I don't think the 7 has a shot at all. This, the horse is dropping in GSR as well. So SOR goes down. I mean, but, if anything, they disrupt the 3, the 1 or 4 sit the trip.
The 1 or 4 for sure sit the trip. It looks like the jockeys are back on their mounts and they're about to load into the gate. I was at the sale over in Maryland, as you know, and we got 4 horses in the sale, in the Fasig-Tipton sale. It was a blast. And if you get a chance, go on Fasig-Tipton and look at, I'll give you the hip numbers: 169, 448, 215, and 502. And looks like we got some really nice horses, and we were using I was using the GSR. And that was a blast. But I also really got a chance to talk to a lot of horse people, and I learned a lot about like the physical part of the horse, like, about the pastern and how the pastern should be to the ground, and then also the cannon bone can't be too long, and just so many different things that I think will help me on the handicapping side as well. But it's really neat.
What was your favorite part of the sale?
The bidding itself, like literally all you would hear is this. You would hear at the auction, the auctioneer going 40,000, 50,000. Like you heard nothing else. It was so funny. It was okay. There's a look. They're going into the gate right now. We'll watch this race, and the 3 horse is going to be tough to catch. And let's
along is Hardware Gap.
Gets up there. I'm predicting 3-1-4.
Prince Sussex joining them.
Scott,
and to the outside, Shane Ellis, Forest of Humor.
We can talk about which ones. I think there were a couple different areas.
And has gone in, so they're all in and locked up. On their way in a great start, but soon after, Hardware Gap dips to last. Prince Sussex shows the way. Alan Diggs drives up on the inside to go through and put the neck in front. 2 lengths away in third placing, Forest of Humor. Midnight Ramble on the inside and Hardware Gap at the back. Racing with the early lead on the rails, Alan Diggs being pressed all the way by Prince Sussex. They're 3.5 to Hardware Gap, hiking forward on the outside of Forest of Humor.
And too bad
a couple away last, Midnight Ramblin'. Into the turn together, Alan Diggs getting away by almost 3/4. Prince Sussex a bit ginger into the turn.
1 horse should have a good
half
finish
away on
here,
the inside. Forest of Humor making some ground. Hardware Gap is next, and last catching is Midnight Ramblin' as they turn Alan Diggs only a length. Forest of Humor comes off the rail. A wide trip at the turn for Prince Sussex. Midnight Ramblin' winding up, and Hardware Gap the centre. Alan Diggs in front. Forest of Humor won't switch leads. It's drifting about down the outside. Hardware Gap and Midnight Ramblin'. Alan Diggs in front. Midnight Ramblin' scorching home on the outside. Coming at them is also in the centre, Forest of Humor, and Forest of Humor's won it. Alan Diggs in a photo without White Midnight Ramblin' for second and third, and then came Hardware Gap and last, Prince Sussex. 57.87.
The 7 was moving very nicely on the inside, and I was a little worried about that. The 4 broke slow, rushed up.
I didn't see this horse at all. I mean,
I don't know how you see this horse.
It was dropping in SOR. It's just the 3 had to duel, so it just set up for the 7. The 1 was so far back and then ended up going like 10 wide.
The 1 looked like he was going to just run all by both of these horses and didn't. I think, though we kind of talked that the 6 would definitely soften up the 1 and then stop, and that's what happened. That horse went off at 3-1. It's unfortunate because we read that thing pretty darn good with the 1 horse and the 3 and the 4, and then the 4 broke slow. So, but 7 horse gets the win. It was very close between the 1 and the 3 for second. I actually couldn't call that.
Yeah, 8-1. Wow. All right. Yeah. Well, we will move on.
Real quickly before you do, let's just see this photo here for a second.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Like right here, I just thought it was a foregone conclusion. I honestly thought the 1 was going to go right on by and just didn't do it. And the 7 gets there.
3 got second.
Yeah. Looks like 3. So unofficially 7-3-1. The 3 came out. If you look where the 3 is, 3 really came out in the 7 a lot as well. But the 7 didn't do anything wrong, that's for sure. Yeah, I would say 7-3-1. I think the jockey made a mistake on the 1 horse going outside of the 6. The 6 drifted out. I think he should have gone in, and he might have won the race if he would have made that call, but he didn't. And 8-1 on Forest of Humor, the 7 horse. So
yeah, that 1 ended up that was probably 10 wide at least. So
yeah,
for sure cost the race. A dash, yes, Wiz, that was no bueno. That's a crap.
So close too. Yeah. As far as Scotty, as far as a horse with a long neck, No, you want to break the horse down in thirds, like from the back end to the middle to the front, and you want everything to be proportional. You don't want a long neck, just the opposite. That's not true. And you don't want a neck to come down here to the too far down below the chest. You don't want a thick neck as well. So those are some of the things, but we can talk about that, and I'll share some of the things that I have learned about as far as how to look at horses on the track. I look forward, Justin, to actually going to the track and seeing horses in the paddock, like at Del Mar especially. I feel like maybe that'd be a good thing.
Scotty, I will be right back, y'all. Scotty, Hank, I got the school calling me for one of my kids.
Go for it. Minute. Go ahead. All right, so Gulfstream Park race number 5 just took off, and the top pace number is the 2 horse. And, the jockey's on the inside, and I don't know if it broke slow or not, but, I'm not sure if the jockey, well, no, this horse has shown it can rate before. See, that's why there's a lot of trainers that are looking at the pace number to decide how to ride the horse. And maybe it ends up working out well for this horse or not, but a jockey in this situation, this horse is 5-1 EquinEdge morning line from a 15-1 odds maker, top pace number, good GSR. If he was looking at the pace number, he would have sent that horse. But now he's got horses in front of him, to his outside, right in front of her, to the outside. So we'll see what happens here. But big long shot XY Lady, 2% at 46-1 in the lead right now. The 3 horses, the EquinEdge long shot, currently 9-1. And there's the 6 extra Indy, 9% horse. One third place finish going 1.70 on the synthetic. So you can see the 3 horse looks done. I mean, the big long shot XY Lady went right on by. Here comes the 2 horse after rating like that. This horse is 5-1 on the EquinEdge morning line, 10-1, not changing leads, but it looks like it's going to be between these 2 horses, the 6 and the 2. But the jockey needs to be hitting that horse left-handed so it can change leads, but he's going right-handed, and that's a mistake. But he did win the race. 2-6 and very close between the 7 and the 9. Need that long neck at the wire? Yeah, you're probably right. So, look, in this situation here with the 2 horse, Vasquez saved ground on the horse. And this horse was 5-1 on the EquinEdge morning line. This is a prime example of when you can actually do very well using all the metrics, but also using horses you might not otherwise use. If the horse is 15-1, you might go, it's 15-1. The odds maker knows what he's doing, so I'm going to leave that horse out. But in this situation, you see it's the top pace number. And by the way, it was the top pace number too by a fair amount, 12 points. And it was 5-1 on the EquinEdge morning line, and it had a 10% win, which normally wouldn't be great. But when your top win percentage in the 7 horses only 26%, that's not a bad number. So I think the 2 was always going to be a major contender in here. And the horse is tactical, and this is the type of horse that you would absolutely use. And I've seen Justin single horses like this before. So 2, 6, 9 is your order of finish. The 7 ended up getting 4th, Spirit of Power. And as we look at Justin, he's on the phone with the school. And I don't have control of this screen, but I might be able to grab it and share my screen. Let me see if I can do that.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm back.
You're back? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Anytime the school calls.
Of course.
But everything's okay. So
good.
This sequence, I thought, Scotty, was really, really tough, to be honest. Like to be honest, missed both the first 2 races here, so it doesn't really matter. But I thought it was a tough sequence and has the potential to pay a lot, but I will not be live, but that's okay. But I knew that those horses on the lead might get caught, but the 2 hung on. I saw it. Did it finally get on the right lead?
The 2 didn't get on the right lead, but was
it
good
never
news.
did.
No,
Wow.
it never did. No. Do we have Pimlico video?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good. Let's check out Pimlico.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We got, there's about to go. They're on the turf.
Okay.
Anything, I looked at this, but anything from you right away?
Well, there's a crap load of pace, and the horse that can actually sit and save ground for me would be the 1 horse. So I would kind of like this horse at 5-2 right now. It's the favorite. And because I just don't think that the 5 horse has the class. I really don't. It needs the lead. And it was losing ground against a 48 group last time out. The 2 horse is going to have to probably send. I see the 2 horse sending, and the 5 horse needs the lead. And I would like the 2 over the 5. For me, I would throw the 5 out, and I would use the EquinEdge long shot with the 1. I would do like a 1-2-3 exacta box probably, leaning towards the 1 horse to win the race.
Yeah, I thought the 1, to your point, was a real player. To be honest with you, Skylar's Sister was the horse that I thought, after all these dirt races, right? And the GSR doesn't really change much, but with all that said, if you get back to when this horse won its maiden on the turf, and then all they did was put this horse on the dirt for its next 7 races, has never given it the opportunity and has been facing extremely tough strength of races. I thought this horse was absolutely sneaky because of that. I don't know if it can win, though, but I do think this horse will run well. Oh, they're off. Okay.
Well, we're about to find out.
Out of the gate first, Flirtatious last, between horses, Bosserati mixing it up in chrome plated.
The 3 broke very bad.
Spot.
Oh, did it?
Irish Valentine and
really bad.
Sister. The inside is winked only about a half dozen off. A Speed Island Philo back in the pack, and Evangeline Alon trailing the field and 7 or 8 lengths off at speed into the far turn run. Bosserati, Flirtatious last, knocking heads, and around that turn it's Bosserati 22.6 through the opening quarter mile, trying to get away a bit from Flirtatious last out of the inside.
Well, 8 not going to run. The 5
third, then
might put the 2 away.
Fourth, and Wink swings to the outside in 5th, and Skylar's Sister. Island Philo out of the inside, attempts to move up into the stretch, about a furlong left to run. Bosserati from Flirtatious last second. Then it's a fun
Razor likes this 5.
Outside is Wink.
Here comes the 3.
Outside, followed by Chrome Plated Heart. Here's Bosserati. Bosserati holding sway.
5's going to hold.
To win from Afandi. Bosserati Afandi. Wink
nice call, Razor.
And it's Chrome Plated
Bosserati wins the race.
Last for the high 5.
And, I didn't think that horse could hold with that lower class, but it had only been on the turf 1 time, and the GSR went up, and it won that race. So, yeah, that horse went good. And it dueled with the 2. It still pulled away. So that's a good sign. It looks like this horse found a new home on the turf.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in dueling like that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was dueling with a nice horse in the race. And the 3 horse might have won that race if it wouldn't have broke bad. So you might want to put a note on that horse.
Yeah, ends up running 3rd. The 6 horse ended up running 2nd, which must have been a price. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was only 5%, but gets up for 2nd place at 5-1.
So what are we covering? You've got Delaware coming up. Huh?
Yeah. No, Woodbine. Well, Woodbine in 15 minutes. So the problem is Pimlico and Gulfstream are like going on top of each other.
I know. I don't know. Being Stronach tracks, I just don't get why they do that. I really don't. I don't know how hard it could be. And I love Stronach Group. I really do, genuinely. I do. But I don't understand how hard it would be to coordinate with each other and not run on top of each other.
Belmont's in 0 minutes, so we'll skip that. I mean, we'll look at Delaware Park here real quick, just since we have a few minutes, and then we'll jump over to Woodbine since we got 15 minutes. I didn't handicap this, Scotty, so we'll do it on the fly, to be honest. Jamie Ness.
We're going to Woodbine?
No, Delaware Park, and then we'll go to Woodbine.
Oh, okay, cool. Sounds good.
So
let's do it. We got a big pace advantage here in the 2 horse.
Yeah, Jamie Ness horse. So he's running over at Delaware Park. I only know of him of hearing about him at Parks, but big pace to your point, right? Of 80, a 23 points advantage. And it says a big SOR advantage, but I always like to dig into handy view, right? Because you never know, especially on a horse that's raced 5 times. And in this case, right, it won a maiden, right, on the lead. It did give up a little bit of ground, but it doesn't necessarily, I mean, maybe they just kind of wrapped it up. But then they came back and really tough, right, in a 72. So, yeah. And it's cutting back. I mean, what do you, on a lightly raced horse like this, you have to decide, right? Does it fit in a 54?
Well, what I like about it is, so it won easily against a $30,000 group of 40 GSR or SOR. Then it went up, and then it got claimed out of that race by Jamie Ness and went up to a 72 group. So he thought so highly of this horse that he did that. Now, I definitely think this is the type of horse that needs the lead, but I think maybe it's one of those types of horses when it gets the lead, it's very tough to beat. What's interesting about this is Jamie Ness, who's hitting at 24%, drops this horse back into a claiming race, but for 50,000, 20,000 above the claiming price. So he's still loving this horse. He's just now this horse, and if this horse has the top pace number, his horse is 5-2 on the EquinEdge morning line, second EquinEdge pick. I don't know how you're going to beat this horse.
Yeah, so what I would do, right, is say, okay, this horse is going to run well. And then Scotty, what I do is I would say, okay, what have these others done for me lately? Because, they have raced more, right? It's a one-time winner versus all these two-time winners. So I always like to say, okay, tis no clown. You've been facing, 60 SORs. You did win a 64. But the last few races, right, this horse really has not run, and they continually drop in SOR, right? But at the same time, can this horse rate off the pace of a horse that has that much speed, right?
No, first of all, the 6 horse is the type of horse that needs to be like right on the pace.
Yes.
And it doesn't, there's 3 horses much faster than that horse.
Yep.
So for me, I'm not a fan of the 6 horse in this race.
So you get rid of that because it's not going to, I'm with you. And then, if you look at the 7, Swifty Devil, I mean, this horse has shown a little bit of I guess one time in a 54, right? It was able to kind of sit off the pace and won. But then, last out in a 58 and a 62, it didn't run. So this horse is dropping back in class and is the EquinEdge pick for Centino and Gorham.
You're talking about the 7?
Yeah.
The 7 is the EquinEdge long shot, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look at the horse 3 back, it faced a similar group at 9%, a 60 GSR, and it won fairly easily against 7 other horses. Then the very next race, it goes up to a 62 and shows speed. And all the way down the stretch, the horse was only a length and a half back before giving up late against a 62 group. Then drops in class drops a little bit in class, but still above its level of 58 SOR, only 3% to win, and the GSR drops 7 points. Now it's the EquinEdge long shot. It drops in class, in which where it won pretty easily 3 back, and it gets back that GSR. So there's a lot pointing, and it's 3-1 on the EquinEdge morning line compared to 8-1 from the odds maker. I think this horse is a major player in this race, and it's tactical.
Yep. And it's taking money, but I guess not surprising with the EquinEdge morning line so low. But I bet this horse floats up a little bit, and I bet you get 4 or 5 to 1. We'll have to see.
I think the 3 horses getting a little over bet. I do. First of all, it's 7-2 on the EquinEdge morning line. I don't like that. It won easily last time out, getting the lead against a much easier group. And I if you look back, it's the 6 furlong race at Canterbury Park 3 back. That horse was a big favorite. One of the things I don't like is when a horse is a big favorite and it loses by a lot of lengths. It gets 5th as the 8-5 favorite, 9-5 favorite by 4.5. And if you look at the 44 race 5 back against a 44 SOR group at 50%, it barely holds on to win the race at 40 cents on the dollar. I'm not a fan of this 3 at all. I like 2-7.
Yeah, I'm with you. The other thing about this, right, always, the win percent does go up, but you pointed out in one way here, but I also at the same time, I say, okay, are you going to burn money again? Like, you burned money here at 36 and this is a 34. That was a 52. So in a similar fashion, I'm like, heck yes, you can burn money again. right? Like,
right.
and it is coming off second off a big layoff. And, that was a 2-turn race, is at Keeneland. I think because of that, this horse is going to get over a bet because it romped. The other thing about this though, too, Scotty, is this horse will not get the lead. It's just, I don't see it happening. It got the lead going 2 turns and now it's cutting back, and you have the pace of the 2 and 7. This horse has never really shown that it can rate stock the pace, except for in a 44, right?
I agree. And it's going to be on the inside. You got the 7 horse that's fast, and then you have the 2 horse that's really fast, and the 3's in between them. So on top of all that, if the 3 got a perfect trip, we don't like the horse, and I don't see it getting a perfect trip here. I'm not really a fan of this horse in this context here.
Yeah. And then you get to the 5, right? And, essentially trying to narrow down to maybe just an exacta here. But, this horse is dropping massively, which it needs to drop. And you go back to its races at Aqueduct, and it did win versus 56 as the favorite. But the morning line doesn't like this horse. The win percent's only 10%. I mean, I don't see anything really amazing here to say that this horse is going to run.
That race was just too bad to believe in the last race. Now, I know it was against Tougher, and it was 71-1. This is the toughest one to judge for sure, because 3 back, it won. It was 28%, same GSR. It was a similar company, a little bit tougher, 5 other horses, and it won the race fairly easily. I don't know. I don't personally like this horse. I think something's amiss here. Not only that, it's not 28% today. It's only 10% to win today. That race was pretty bad. I know it was the first race off of a layoff, but it wasn't that long of a layoff, and that was a pretty poor performance.
It's very inconsistent too, right? You see, okay, back here you got last, and then you ran second in a 5-horse field, and then you ran last again, and they are tougher. So, like, I mean, the connections aren't putting this place at a great spot, and then it did get claimed, right? And then after the claim, it did run that one good race, right? But this horse seems to have trouble in my mind. Like, it is still protected, but it's not a lot to love other than, it is dropping an SOR. But I think to your point, it's only 10%. So, I still think, to your point, I think this horse on the pace is going to be, I don't think the 7, who's now floated up to 5-1, and I mentioned that, and they're getting close to the gate, but, I don't think this horse is necessarily just going to try. Well, maybe it will send. I don't know.
Look, you got to remember that when you look at the 7 horse, when people look at the last couple of races, they don't know how much stronger those 2 races are, because they're just seeing level. They don't see an actual metric. So when you look at starter optional claiming 50,000, and you're looking at a form, and then you look at the last couple of races, you just think they're the same. This 7 is super dangerous in this race.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then the 4, St. Andrews, been racing at similar SOR. It did run 2 back for Steve at Oaklawn Park in a 56, but then just absolutely didn't run a lick, was a step slow and didn't run. This horse has no speed. I don't think it's going to get an insane pace meltdown. That's the only way that I think that horse could run, but I don't necessarily see it. But
yeah, they're actually loading into the gate right now.
I'll turn the sound up and we can listen.
Okay.
Whiskey Devil, the outside gate. Set to jump.
7 and 2 broke great.
Arden Wood tossed the head up soon as the starters go, but Cloud Music
Could have
away.
asked for anything better, at least to start the race.
Devil came away in second, and Capri is right there, the firing line in that 3rd place position.
7 got bet down to 5-2.
Oh my goodness.
Ardenwood takes that.
The 2's 5-1.
No Cloud is last of all. So with the paces in the hands of Cloud Music today with 4 furlongs to go, leads the charge, and he's in front by a length and a quarter. Swifty Devil is one path off the fence at the 3.5, and Capri comes under a ride and not responding. On the outside, St. Andrews is starting to gather.
Horse coming.
And right behind them is Ardenwood. And last
The 2's still in hand, though.
Yeah, 2's running easy. I don't know. This 4 is really moving, isn't it?
Is ready to take him on inside the quarter pole, and these 2 have spaced the rest as they turn.
4's going to win this race.
It continues to lead, but
man, really was live. Well, maybe not. Come back to.
Toe-to-toe at the final furlong pole, and St. Andrews inching away to
Wow.
a neck lead. Cloud Music fighting on resolutely, but
that horse was super live. I mean, they knew something on that horse for sure. I mean, that horse made a move at the top of the stretch that you could visually see. And I'm trying to look back right now. I mean, this horse has been claimed, what, 5 times in the last 7 races? That is, crazy. So, I mean, Greg Compton did a really nice job here. That's for sure. I mean, this horse lost by 37 lengths last time out. And so whatever he did a nice job.
I don't know if I've seen a horse in 8 races been claimed that much.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. 5 times. And I mean, this horse's form couldn't have looked any worse. There's no way to see that. I think it's interesting. It is interesting that the horse was 15% though. But still, there's, it had a good GSR. There's no way. I can't play a horse like that. Let's go to Woodbine. Let's go to Woodbine.
So race 5. The one horse was a big morning line angle, Scotty, and the 3 horse is going to be the pace of the race here, right? But I thought that the 2 horse was really, really interesting, even though it's run its best races on the turf. But I thought as the top EquinEdge pick, it might be able to turn the tables on the 3.
I'm really surprised to see this horse at 4-1 right now. I mean, it looks good. It won last time out pretty nicely. It was off of a layoff. People are betting right now that this horse can't win back-to-back, but there's a lot. What's interesting about this horse is it's even money on the EquinEdge morning line. It's the top EquinEdge pick. It's 26% to win. It's got the second top GSR next to the 3. I mean, I think the 3 is going to be very tough to catch, but I mean, this 2 is great value. 9-2 now.
My problem with Angelou, why I landed on the 2 here over the 3 was it's not on the EquinEdge picks. And the system, it's doing that for a reason. Like, why is it picking the 5 at 29% and not the 3 at 36%? And
you know what? You need to change your screen, Justin, so people can see
you're good.
See race view. There you go.
Yeah.
Although they're almost about to run, but yeah, I listen. If I got to put a bet right now, I'm doing a 2-3 exacta box, knowing that the 5 horse can come up and beat me. But I like 2-3.
Won the start and is hungry to go straight to the front. It does. From Silver Magnetized as they go to the wire the first time. Ephrata is 3rd. 2 lengths away is Who Says, and last Buttered Toast, and having a peep round, Luis Contreras, and swinging off the inside, Silver Magnetized, the stablemate within a half a length, and out wider is Ephrata in 3rd. On the inside, Who Says, and Buttered Toast is last. Angelou is the pilot, trying to take them to a crawl as they work their way towards the backstretch, and leads by a length to Silver Magnetized. 1 away, Ephrata, Who Says on the inside. I can't believe that
horse went off at 4-1.
A length and a half to Buttered. They're very casual, like gallop so far. They haven't really gone out.
By the way, the grandbaby is good. Thank you for asking. And Stevie Marie.
And last is Buttered Toast. The first quarter was a casual 25 and 4/5. And Angelou on top by over a length. Silver Magnetized tabs in second. And 3rd, Ephrata coming up on the outside. Okazushi Kimura. And is keen to put some pace into the race. Back second last is Who Says, and last of all, Buttered Toast 4.5 off the leader. They run inside the 3.5, and 51-1 was the first half. Angelou kicks out in front, and here comes Ephrata, revving the motor with Silver Magnetized, and they attacked fiercely for the first time. Angelou on the inside joined. Silver Magnetized a neck away second. On their outside, a wide trip Ephrata. A gap to Buttered Toast, and Who Says is last. Into the final quarter they run, and Silver Magnetized ball right off, and Angelou skips clear. Cuts the corner beautifully to get 4 in front. Out deep on the track, Ephrata in the center, Silver Magnetized, and then Buttered Toast. Angelou's lead about 3.5 lengths. Ephrata finishing down the extreme.
The 2 and the 5 are dueling, and the 5's got the measure of the 2 for sure.
I mean, look at the fractions. I got to imagine that's slow at.
No, that pace was just too much for them to overcome. There's just no way.
Yeah.
A 68 pace. The next closest was 39 with the 2. And this, it's amazing. Look at this system. I mean, 2-5, it had that cold. How about we get out to Gulfstream? You want to get out to race 6?
Yeah, I singled here. My ticket is no longer alive, but I was singling the pace here, Scotty, the 5 horse. I thought that Lord Jackson, his horse is taking a ton of money. I'm not too surprised because the morning line was 8-1, but I didn't think anything of the 6, and I didn't think a lot of these in the bottom level claimer. Yeah. It's hard to come from dead last at 8 furlongs on the Gulfstream dirt when you have a horse that has speed. So I was using the pace figure here. It's only 13%, not in the EquinEdge picks, but I actually singled Lord Jackson in my defunct ticket.
I'm not a really big fan of the 6 horse Astral Weeks.
Yeah, I didn't like this horse.
Can you put it on the put it on Handy View?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I like your 5. And I don't like the 6 horse Astro. This horse barely beat a 36 group.
Yep.
Last time out. It's drawing a wider post, and I don't know that that'll fully matter because there's not really a lot of speed other than the 5 horse. But the horse I like the most is the 2 horse. Throw out two back on Grand Player. If you throw that race out, broke from the rail, broke 9th. Didn't have a good trip at all. If you throw that out, last time out, this horse ran a heck of a race. This horse is going to be sitting in a really nice position. I think the 2 horse, the EquinEdge second pick, will be tough. The only reason I don't love the 1 is the horses very rarely come from so far back to win on this dirt course like this. I mean, this horse has 0 speed.
Yeah, and I was the same way. I mean, it did way back here, but that's like. I mean, that's not common. It's very hard to do that, and I still have a couple of minutes. I was just looking real quick, but to your point, like and you can see, right? Look at its running style, and it tried to do it here, right? And it gets 2nd and 3rd because it's so hard to be able to do that. Scotty, I tend to like horses, on or near the lead on the dirt at Gulfstream. To me, it just seems like it plays to their advantage.
Yeah, you do need to be within probably 3 or 4 lengths, usually at the top of the stretch in order to win the race, for sure. You very rarely see horses come from too far back. And this horse is not like it has some big class advantage. So I'm leaning on playing against that horse. I'm looking right now, though, when you look 2 back at this horse, when it broke its maiden, or not maiden, that won a non-winners of 2 lifetime against a 44 group. It did win by 6.5 lengths.
Yeah. But it just has no speed. And so, it doesn't break well, right? Awkward start, slow start, head turned at the start. It's like, so then it finally did, right, to some extent, and it ran a lot better. So, then it gets claimed last out. I don't know this trainer. Miguel Vasquez continually rides. So, maybe he helps here, but this horse has no speed, and it's 1 for 11 right at the distance. And that 1 win, it just broke good, right? Or broke better. I guess I wouldn't say it broke good, but.
And look at this, 6 horses, the 9-5 favorite right now. And out of that race we're talking about there on February 22nd, the 3 horse had a 2 pace, a 2. But there was a lot of speed in there. There was a horse called Nature Boy who had an 86 pace number, and it looks like so then one of the contenders, the 2 horse, who's Allagash Run, this horse was 39% to win, but it needs the lead, and it couldn't get it. I think the race broke down. And Astro Weeks, though, this 6 horse had every chance, but but it didn't. But you know what? It was dueling. So it was also dueling. So maybe this time it's going to get a better trip. Maybe Astro Weeks, maybe you can throw out that race, but there was definitely a lot of pace. So that it looks like that February 22nd race with my twin sneakers and Astro Weeks, that race broke down. And so I'm going to give that horse a little bit less credit. I think that this is a little bit better group. And I think Grand Player, I always will give an advantage over a horse that seems to be doing very well, Grand Player, and has more speed, tactical. So when you look at the 2, it's 18%. When you look at the 1, it's 25%. But look at their pace numbers. The 2 has a 38, the 1 has an 8. They're very similar in SOR as well. The 2 horse faced a 44 last time out, and the 1 did face a 48. Maybe it's those 2 horses. Maybe 125 exacta box. I don't know. I'm not surprised that the 6 horse is getting bet, but I don't know. I think it'd be an easy group. That's what I think.
Yeah, I would be. I do like your 2, but I think the 7 could get up to get a price and hit the board too. So it will be. I would not be surprised to see the pace be semi-moderate. We'll see here in a minute. They're loading. It's raining, Scotty.
Yeah, it's raining over here right now. I see the clouds over there. Okay, yeah, let's check it out. So let's watch the race. What about the 7 horse though? Makes you feel like this horse has a chance of? I can't see anything on the 7.
I don't think it can win, but I do.
Ford
Just
Jackson.
depending on what happens, I could see this horse
Waiting for
getting up to
Shakirin
some extent
and
to
Astro Weeks.
hit 3rd place or something in the trifecta.
Inside posts like the 1 and the 2, they do very well. I think the 2's I think the 2's going to get a really nice trip.
There, Renegade.
Three horse acting up.
Ready. And they're off. From the outside, Astro Weeks, one of the first to break the line, moving to him and up to take over. Lord Jackson has speed, and these 2 race on.
The jockey has no control over the 2 whatsoever. I don't know what's going on there.
Didn't do Grand Player any favorites. Moving out the inside is the twin sneakers, and the early trailer is Sir Khan. These top 2 are going hot and heavy out of the chute. The leader, Lord Jackson, by a length. Astro Weeks is second. They've opened 7. Shakirin, who races
right now, I would take the 1 horse all day long. I mean, this horse is in front of the 2 right now. Rios
is now 3rd.
Whether it was on him or the horse, really had a hard time with the 2. This is advantage 1 horse. Right now, if they gave me the chance at 2 to 1, I would put 5,000 on the 1.
Racing second is Astro Weeks. A gap of 4. Shakirin is now 3rd. The twin sneakers patiently handled 4th at the inside ahead of Grand Player, then Sir Khan and Power. 47-2 for the opening half mile. Around the far turn they go. Lord Jackson by half a length. Astro Weeks working harder to get on terms. A gap of 3. The twin sneakers called on for his run. He's racing in tandem with Shakirin. Grand Player is 5th. He's about 7 lengths off the lead. Then Sir Khan with a 1/4 mile left to go. On the outside, Astro Weeks starts to get serious, and he's now taking the clear lead. Lord Jackson fighting back to the inside. Into the clear comes the twin sneakers. Then Shakirin. 3/4, 12-4. There's now 1/8 of a mile to go. The twin sneakers. He starts to finish up. He's got Astro Weeks to catch. Astro Weeks by 2.5. The twin sneakers gaining ground. Time running out. This will be close. Astro Weeks. The twin sneakers launching late. Here's the wire photo finish. The twin sneakers surging at Astro Weeks. It'll take a win picture in 139-3.
We could handicap all day long, and the top 2 win percentages coming 1st and 2nd.
Hey, I think the win percent's just a great algorithm. We were talking about this the other day.
It is. It's super good. It really is. Okay, well, I got to put more money in my account.
I'm with you. It's been a cold day, man. But you're still amazing. We got
Pimlico, right?
Yeah. Let me jump over. All right, number 7, allowance race. I thought this was a little bit of a tough race when I looked at it. I did kind of struggle to handicap it. Safi Joseph. Oh no, this isn't the race with Safi, but The 4 Prodigy Time, I mean, this horse is a winner. You know, it was a tough allowance race, Scotty. I really thought it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed in here. What I noticed when I was over at Pimlico for the Preakness, I noticed that horses that were tactical really did well. So for me, the 5 horse, I think you're seeing this horse. Its form is fine, but you know, this is the type of horse you look at and you really can't see it. But there's a lot of things here revealing a nice win percentage within this group. EquinEdge second pick. The GSR is fine. You know, top 171 with the 4. The 4 is getting overbet in my mind. So I would definitely give the 5 a big look. I like the 4. I like the EquinEdge picks, the 4 and the 5. But the thing about it is the 3 and is the 4 going to let the 3 go? I don't know. Like it just depends.
It
right?
might.
He might let the 3 go. And if the 3 goes, I still don't think the 3 is classy enough. I really don't think the EquinEdge long shot can win this. I think this race is between the 4 and the 5. And if they go crazy suicide up front, don't be surprised the 2 gets up. Is that enough confusing?
Well, that's what I thought was so tough. But I think both the 3 and 4, to your point, like I don't necessarily know if they're going to duel, and I'll jump back over because they're going to go. I would have probably landed on the 5 as my top pick because I thought this horse could sit off the trip. But to your point, I don't know. One of them may get loose still because if the 4 tries to rate, then the 3 may get loose. But I think to your point, it may not be classy enough.
I'm betting the 5 to win, and I'm doing an exacta box 5 too. I've made an executive decision.
I love it. Oh, we don't have. Oh, there's the sound.
Response time and Golden Effect firing out with Prodigy Doll away third. The outside.
Wow, the 7 and it shows speed too. Wow.
Woman trailing the field. Golden Effect
Or
out
the
of the
6,
rail has
not the
ahead
7.
in front with response time left alongside the 2 path. Is Prodigy Doll right there out there 3 path in third, and Deco Strong is in fourth at a gap of 3, and Moody Woman trailing the field as they roll past the half-mile pole. The opening quarter 23.16 for Golden Effect, a neck in front from response time, and Prodigy Doll 3 deep as they round the far turn.
5 sitting
trying
perfect,
to keep up under a bit of a ride and a drive there, and it's Moody Woman trailing that.
They're going very slow. I don't suspect anybody's coming from behind here.
Prodigy Doll looms up on the far outside.
The 5 looks much
between horses with a quarter to go at Pimlico. They turn for home. 46.12 is the half mile. Prodigy Doll, the center of the track now. Response time in between horses.
Way out there.
Moody Woman.
Come on, 2.
Is coming with a run, 2. Here comes.
Come on, 2. Stay up 5. Stay up 5.
And running the daylight.
2 gonna win.
Come on, 5. Stay up.
Carlos Lopez and going away with a 16th to go.
Stay up 5.
Moody Woman.
Stay up 5.
Moody Woman. A sharp
Stay up
winner
5.
indeed.
Get up.
What is
Yes.
the response time at the outside?
Man,
I gave it to you. What do you want from me?
We'll have to. That was a nice one, man. Good job. I don't know if it got there too late. It was very close. I'll leave it on.
Why you want to be a downer like that? We just beat an even money. No, the 5 got there. I'm willing it. It's happening. I think it did. I think the 5 got there, but we got the 7-2 shot.
The 2 just kind of like get out of my way and came right through.
And they didn't go fast either. I'm really – and this horse won easily. 2, 4, 5, Michael? Come on. No.
All right, here it comes. Rate 5. That's – oh, no. I don't know. That's close, man.
That's really close.
The 5 looked to get the bob though, Scotty. I think you might be okay. I mean,
it's. I think at best I got a dead heat. I think Michael's right. That angle's very tough though. It is tough. I got a good head bob. I think it's really, really close. It could be a dead heat. Yeah, it could be a dead heat. Could be a dead heat.
We'll stay. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not what we like to see.
Okay, what did that cost me? Hold on here. Okay. Like, I had a $200 exacta box, 2-5. That's probably and trying to beat the even money favorite in the 4, which we
2,600. versus it paid about 1,100. Man, that was close.
We gave him a go.
All right.
We gave him a go. All right. So there's a really nice looking horse over at Belmont. I mean, I don't think you can beat the 4. It's got a killer GSR, huge pace advantage, 40%, 8-5 EquinEdge morning line, top EquinEdge pick. Like, I'm just trying to find maybe a horse to come in second. And at 23-1, the EquinEdge long shot is interesting, but I do think it's, look at the 9 horse as well. Clever Thought is 8-1. You have the 8 horse Mercante, who's 10% to win. That horse is 13-1. I think there could be some prices there. And then how about the 5 horse who's 8-1? That horse is 4-1 on the EquinEdge morning line. Maybe that's your second horse. But the four's even money. No, I know that, Michael. No, listen, we just keep it real, you know. But I'm gonna bet the 4 to win for sure. At even money.
Mondego.
Yeah, Mondego. And then I'm gonna take I'm gonna throw out the 9's last race, and I'm gonna do a 4-9 exacta.
The 9, I think you had. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that horse, so I was looking. I mean, you can throw out this race. I think to your point. I mean, it just looks kind of brutal on the trouble line. Not what we don't get to go watch the race, but broke really, really slow at Keeneland. Like, it looks to have just a terrible, terrible trip. I would expect that horse to run well, Scotty. I mean,
I think so. I think it's got a look. And then I'm doing a saver right now. That is 4 over 368 over 9 trifecta, right? So even if the 4 wins, that's great. And if the 9 comes in second or third, I should be able to do okay. But the EquinEdge long shot 3 has a look. You know what's nice about not hosting the show is I can watch on my video here. I can watch the race when we're not covering it. So you go ahead and talk while I watch the race.
No, yeah, I will. I'll turn the sound on though. They're approaching the gate
for sure.
I know. So the 4, I mean, is going to be the pace of the race. Love Me Not definitely has some amount of speed, has shown speed. I mean, Christopher Clement, Joel Rosario's riding. He can be hot and cold. I played him yesterday and he won a race, which was nice. They're definitely loading right now. And this horse made it look easy somewhat last out, Scotty. So you're hoping for the same. The win percent goes up. Great GSR. I think to your point, though, I do think the 9 is sneaky from.
I do too. But the 4 has every single thing going for it. GSR, win percentage, EquinEdge pick, EquinEdge morning line, and pace number is huge. I mean, unless the 4 is no good, if the 4 doesn't win this race, they need to drop it. It looks really tough.
The rail is at 35 feet. I don't know what that means at Belmont. I did look real quick, but I got to imagine that will help the 4 to some extent.
Yeah.
With 10 horses here, and just it's going to have a good lead. But I think you played it right. I mean, just hearing, the 6, 8, 9 definitely have the potential as prices to run. The 5's not getting any love for Lascano and Mott, which
listen, look at that rail. That rail is absolutely, a factor, but I hope he sends, look at this. I didn't anticipate that.
Dago, and down on the inside is Believe in Josh and Love Me Not.
5
Believe in Josh.
You didn't even get the lead.
Runs in second, and Mondego is.
I'm shocked. I mean, I don't understand why the jockey just wouldn't send this horse. Now he's going to get horses going to his outside, going to get stuck behind big long shots in front of him. It's just
Clever Thought and Regal.
But I understand what the jockey and the 2 and the 3 did. The rail's out, and they're like, "Hey, we've got to send." Here's the problem: you have the 5 right now sitting a perfect trip, while the 2 is going to stop, and the 4 is going to be behind it. So Not a good place to be.
Inside it is Mondego.
The 5 was again, that horse went off at 10-1.
Just in behind, Mercant, Mondego, and Young Frau. Then comes Game Change.
The EquinEdge long shot could be dangerous here, man, sitting outside there.
The jockey on the 4 is absolutely,
Look
of
at the
course,
3.
loaded,
Here
but
goes
he's
the long
behind a horse
shot.
that's 62-1. Like, he's screwed.
Up on the outside to grab the lead.
Absolutely screwed.
There's the 8.
Third, Mondego is going to need some room here as they come for the top of the stretch. On the outside is Young Frau, followed by Game Change, and the same man.
To say the 4 is best is such an understatement, but I don't know.
Hit for home now.
I don't know what he's going to do.
Challenged on the outside by Mercant. The 2 of them.
Oh, you're going to get
Mondego now switches to the outside, but Young Frau is right along.
pace going to hold, man.
No, 4 is going to get him.
It's Mercant.
Look at the
How much
9.
best was- Oh, here comes the 9. Here comes the 9. Don't beat him. Just get up 9 seconds. Second.
Oh,
Yes. Woo.
Clever thought was right there.
All right.
that 9 was rolling at 8-1. Good call, man. That was a
How much
beautiful
best?
pick.
Well, first of all, the 4 was a mountain the best in that race. A mountain the best for sure. Like a mountain the best. Like the jockey, I don't know. It's hard to be critical, but it is Rosario, so I'm gonna be. I mean, that was just terrible.
He almost cost him the race, man. He
It's just-
luckily got out with enough time to get all that momentum, and he got him.
exactly.
He got else the 9 would have had the momentum and beat him. But from that perspective, at least he got out there at the right time. And
Yeah.
you get 4 to 5, but you get a 8-1 second.
What's the
second
exacta paying?
Hold on, I'll tell you. The 4-9 is paying 13-1, so 26
Okay.
for $2,
Okay, I'll take that.
which is pretty good at a 4 to 5 over an 8-1. You can't really complain with that.
Isn't it amazing? I bet 3 races plus this one, 4 races. I lose the first 3, and then I win this, and I'm way up. I mean, that's what's great. That's why you don't focus on win bets only. You can throw if you really love a horse, throw a win bet on there for sure. But like your money is in the exactas and trifectas. Of course, I'm as far as verticals go, it's going to be very difficult if you're a win better to win money unless you're so disciplined that you're going to play these horses that have good win percentages and a low EquinEdge morning line, And in that situation where we see a lot of offshore players using EquinEdge, using the fixed odds. In that situation, okay, yes, but you've got to be super disciplined. But by the most part here in the States, with what we're playing with, very difficult to make money making win bets.
All right, let's go to Woodbine. I know you'll hang out maybe a little bit longer with us, right?
I'll hang with you for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Woodbine race 6. This was a race I did think was really interesting because mainly, and this, I like to find vulnerable favorites, and I thought that the 6 might be one of them. It's burned, money twice, and they decide now that they want to sprint on the turf. And it was a Wesley Ward horse. It was claimed, and the GSR drops 13 points here. So you have a horse that's burned money 2 times already, quite a bit of it. A prime opportunity to burn again as a 35% win percent, and now wants to sprint going 5 furlongs on the turf. I don't know. I don't trust this horse, Scotty.
Okay, first of all, you've nailed it, but let's try to explain why, if I may.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, of course.
Why EquinEdge is so important. If I'm looking at just the form, any past performances, and I see this horse's past 2 races, and now it's cutting back in distance, turf or not. I don't know the breeding. I just see, okay, Astern, Australian bred. Okay, it must have raced on turf. Nutmeg Dam sounds good. Maybe it's turf. I'm betting this horse. But when I look at the GSR dropping down to 51, this becomes very important. And the horse is already burning money. this metric becomes extremely important. It's not that this horse can't win this race, okay, to be fair, but it doesn't have a pace advantage. It's got 4 horses that appear faster. So how's this horse supposed to win this race?
Yeah. I'm with you. I thought that the 3 was interesting, the 4 and the 1 and the 5 a little bit, although I didn't even necessarily love the 5, which a lot of times when that happens, Scotty, I end up, using kind of GSR. In this case, I thought the 1 and then the 4, the long shot, right? Because, I do think, the 5 is the second EquinEdge pick. This is another horse, though, that doesn't necessarily like the turf. So it's a similar situation, right? Where, it ran better last out on the Tapeta in a 44, but now it's getting over the turf. The win percent does go up. So, but off a layoff, I didn't necessarily love it. I was landing on the 4 and the 1 for me.
Okay, so in handicapping the 6 horse, I didn't look at the GSR. So when you're looking at the past performances, if you could go to the 6 horses' past performances, what Handy View is for is to judge the horse against itself. So when we judge the horse against itself, we don't like that drop. Okay, so now when you go to Race View, that's judging the horse against the other horses. And when you do that, the horse stacks up because all these horses have crappy GSRs. So I'm not as convinced that this horse can't win this race now, especially from an outside post, because maybe the horse can sit there and rate, and maybe it's just that good. It's not a single by any stretch, but you do have to judge both ways, against itself and then also against the field, because when you look at the 5, like you said, this horse is dropping from a 60 GSR to a 46.
Yeah. I would try. I would use the 1 or 4 on top for me. I would try to beat both of these. I do think that they obviously could run second, but for me, Scotty, I would put the 1 or 4 on top and put, whether it's I'd probably put the 6 in second, to be honest. I would be trying to, get past that horse. The 1 is first time turf. The GSR does go up 5 points, which I found interesting. At the same time, on GSR Plus, like, it does have good turf sprinting numbers in the 60s.
If you look, it does. And if you look at the turf tab compared to the dirt tab or the synthetic tab, it's way higher.
Yep.
So to be, and this 1, don't be surprised if the 3 breaks slow. This 1 could go gate to wire possibly. To be honest with you, there's no reason to play a favorite in this race, win or lose. The horse you got to bet somewhere in this thing is the 1, right?
Yeah. I think the 1 could be a win bet. You could put it on top. You could put it in second. It for sure is going to run. We'll jump over. They're about to go.
Ample to secured yet. Celentano at 4-1 as the money continues to pour in on Kid Marvelous at 4-5. Just about ready for a start now as Celentano's gone up. Kid Marvelous outside gate. And the field is now all in, locked up, they're off. And a good start for Kid Marvelous, and bustled up for the lead, coming through as Imperial Star. On the inside, taking over Silent Reserve into second, BB the King. That top 4 by a length, Tasman, and last early is Celentano. Silent Reserve on the inside by 3/4, Kid Marvelous. Back in third, BB the King. Imperial Star coming up on the inside. 2 lengths away, second last is Tasman, and ahead away last Celentano. 3/8 left to run, and Silent Reserve shows the way by a length. And now almost a length and a half to Kid Marvelous. 3 lengths away, BB the King, Imperial Star, well behind them, Tasman and Celentano. And Eswan Flores has gone for home here and dashed right away on Silent Reserve. Silent Reserve's out by about 3 or 4 lengths. Kid Marvelous in second. Right off the track, BB the King trying to wind up, and then Imperial Star. They come to the final furlong, and Silent Reserve has given them a galloping lesson so far, is 5 in front. And from the back, finishing now is Celentano, but this has been a one-act affair, and those blinkers made a big difference. Silent Reserve scores by 5.5 lengths to Kid Marvelous.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we nailed it, man. And I even had in my notes, Scotty, I forgot to, oh, maybe I didn't. I thought that maybe it just got cut off, but they did have blinkers, and you talked about it, right? Like, this horse may Esteban Flores, I watched him race at Emerald Downs, but show speed, and he did. He had speed and was gone. And you know, the GSR was the key thing for me there, like just using that algorithm in a maiden special.
But make sure you look at the GSR Plus grid. Can you click on that one?
Yeah,
that's key. Look at the difference in the tab. By the way, you know we have a new GSR, and I was telling you the biggest difference in the GSR. First of all, it wins. The top GSR wins 1% more of the time. That's the first thing. Second thing is we saw a huge difference in separation of tabs. So when I see this horse is all turf, and then they add blinkers, and it has the top pace number. I mean, and it's huge. Bill, you've asked me a couple of times. I don't know what track stats you're talking about. Will we be getting? Do you know what he's talking about? Will we be getting track stats back? What stats did we have?
Are you talking, Bill, about that was a boom? It came 1-6, man. I would have liked the 5 in second, but Bill, are you talking about on the dashboard? Like if I go to dashboard here, are you talking about like when the tracks are on fire?
Yeah, I don't know what Bill's talking about, but I rarely know what Bill's talking about.
That was great. The one horse that stood out there. That's when you can make the money though, Scotty, right too. Well, this will be good. We want the 5. There was an inquiry. Can the 5 get up for second for some strange reason? Would be amazing.
Track surface on Handy View. What?
I don't know why the 5's objecting or.
He's talking about, okay. Yes, Bill, that's coming. The track surface on Handy View. So if you go to the past performances.
Okay.
Click on one of the horses.
Like
on the far right, it's missing, like in this case, GP7, that right there. Yeah, it's coming, Bill.
Yeah, I remember that was in the original update. Yeah. And actually, Bill, it's a good question because they can be very beneficial in of seeing, does a horse have a preference for a track or a distance, right? So I think it's a valid point, obviously.
Are you showing Santa Anita at all or no?
No, probably not. I mean,
Okay.
maybe for just because I had about 2.5 hours today, just because I got to jump back to a couple meetings. But it's been so much later lately. I feel like they were starting at 12:30 or 3:30 Eastern, and now it's 4:30.
Right. Why don't we quickly let's look at the pick 5 at Santa Anita just for a second. Can we do that?
Yeah. Did you? I did not handicap it. Did you?
No, I didn't either. But you know what? Guess there's good news here. We've got EquinEdge.
And we hit 2-3 races in a row, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why there's an inquiry before we go to Santa Anita, but I really
it wasn't on the 1. I know that.
No, but I hope they put the 5 up for second. That would be amazing.
That'd be good.
All right, so
the 3 horse, is that a single in the first leg? Because it was 6-5 last time out, and it got third by 2 3/4 lengths. So, I don't know. I don't know if I trust that horse or not. The GSR is about the same. This horse is a money burner.
I cannot single this horse. No way.
Yeah. I would say this too. Whenever you see maybe the favorite's vulnerable, you have to look at the EquinEdge long shot every single time. Like it's just, I think this is a spread race. I don't think we can trust the favorites. I really don't.
Get rid of the 2 and the 3.
I would get rid. I don't think we get rid of the 3 necessarily, but the 4 horse is a second-time starter, and the GSR goes up from 49 to 60. You see what I mean? So, we could get rid of the 6. That would be the only one. Let's see. First of all, let's try to spread here using everybody but the 6, and then see what we come up with. Okay. Maybe the 1 horse in race number 2 is a single, possibly getting the lead and sending hard. It's facing easier. The win percentage goes up and the GSR goes up. And it likes to win. 5 wins in 14 races. Top EquinEdge pick. The The 3 horse is 3-2 on the EquinEdge morning line and 35% EquinEdge second pick, but it has no speed. But check it out. Going 6 furlongs in the dirt, it has 5 wins, 1 second, and 1/3 in 8 tries.
I just saw it. I was like, oh man, I don't know if maybe you just go too deep here and you just use the 1 and 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it would be hard to get rid of this, mainly because it's done. It's similar to we talked about, at Gulfstream, where it has only done it 1 in 14 tries. It's only come from behind, but this horse has done it 5 out of 8 times. So
right.
Maybe we'll use 1 and 3 there. It wants to single to 1 in the 4th race. It wants to spread here. So Scotty, this is why I always, when I use Ticket Generator, and we still have 5 minutes, so this is good. But when I use Ticket Generator, it doesn't want to spread, but I do try to still find angles. So in this case, right,
sure.
Like it doesn't, okay. So the 5, like look at the pace advantage. So, I mean, from that perspective, the morning line doesn't like it, but it does have a massive pace advantage. So
I'm sorry, I lost you. Which race are we in?
Race 3.
Okay, in race 3, the pace advantage is so huge. The system does not like layoff horses from what I can see, and this horse has been off since for a long time. This is a really rough call. That pace number is so huge, but if this horse isn't good, and it's a rough one. It's trained. It seems to be training good. Do you have the workout reports on this horse?
Yeah, hold on. It's training well, but so is every horse. Wait, this race, it's training well. The only horse that's not training well is the 1. All the other horses are training well.
You know what? I would almost lean on singling, to be honest with you, not the 5, but the 3 horse, believe it or not. Fantastic, who's won 2 in a row, 25%, and is 3-2 on the EquinEdge morning line.
Yeah, I mean that.
But also the 1 looks good. Oh man, that's a tough one. And then you got the EquinEdge long shot. I say we spread all 5.
Yeah, in the rail is out at 30 feet, but let's look at the 1 then here so on the dirt in race 4. There's a lot of pace advantages here in this early pick 5. So
there is.
I think you just have to find the right pace horse to single, right? And the system is saying this is it. If we don't trust the 3 in race 1, which I think is the right play. So I think here, this probably is the single then. It's the top GSR.
Well, I don't think here's the thing. I don't think we need to. Why do we cover the 1 and 2?
Okay.
Right? We don't have to. I mean, if the 1's going to get beat, it's most likely going to be by the 2. Montana, who seems to be in good form after that last race. The race before that was too tough. This is the easiest competition this horse has faced. And so second in the maiden claimer back-to-back. So maybe the 1 and 2. If we regenerate that, it's using 4 horses in the last. Well, it depends on how big of a ticket are we going to do.
I did 96.
Okay, let's see here.
I have a note on.
I have a great note. I have a note on the 1 horse, Free and Humble, in race number 5 says, watch this horse for the next race. And now this horse is actually dropping in class. Oh no, but the SOR, look at that. The SOR is actually higher in this race than it was in that last race. But second off the layoff, my note says, watch this horse in the next race. So it's 35%. It's 69 GSR. What if we only covered 2 horses in that race and we covered the 1 and the 5?
Yeah, there's the ticket. It's right here, $96.
Let's see here.
Two horses in race 2, 2 horses in race 4, and 2 horses in race 5.
I have 120. My ticket is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 with 1, 3.
Oh, with 1, 2, 5.
3, 4, 5.
Yep.
With 1, 2, with 1, 5.
Yep. Yeah, we're good. There it is.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
$120.
I can't remember who. Oh, Lawrence. There it is, Lawrence. No, I like it. I think that you try to beat the chalk in the first race. And you have 2 options in the other races. I mean, it could chalk out a little bit, but I do think race 3 is tough, to be honest. So
it is. That's a tough one. I mean, we could try to nail that, but I think, just to have fun and maybe get a score, and as far as in that spread race and also in the first leg, if you did want to take a chance, maybe you just throw out the 3, Johnny Paycheck. I don't know. That's a really tough race. I mean, even Tito's with a twist in race number 1, the 4 horse, at 6-1, you got a second time starter whose GSR goes up 11 points on the stretch out. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I agree.
I don't think either way, unless something crazy happens. I don't think that there's going to be, a big price, but
Anthony's saying before you leave us, because I know you got to go, that there's a horse with a 94 GSR at Churchill Downs.
A 94 at Churchill Downs in which race? Race 8 coming up?
I'm going to look right now, yeah. Churchill, it might be race 9 is a maiden special, but maybe it is here. Oh, no, it is here. The horse is 1-5. So getting absolutely crushed at the window. Only 21% to win, but 94.
Wow, it had an 84 breaking its maiden for Bilmont Castellano. You almost, I'm looking at the GSR Plus right now. I have never, with the new numbers.
Whoa.
I've never seen a tab. That horse is like, I've never seen this ever.
That's a very well-bred horse. That's insane.
Look at the wet too. 91 on the tab. I have never seen, since we've had the GSR, new or old, I've never seen a GSR Plus like this ever.
I mean,
wow.
99 on
owned by Judmont. This horse figures to be any kind of horse. I think the key here is who's your second place horse, where maybe you can make some money. I like to use the EquinEdge morning line in a situation like this, honestly. And so when I look at that,
look at the 11 magical loot.
I mean, 24-1, 6-1 on the EquinEdge morning line. It's 9%, decent win percentage, and of course, you can never ignore the EquinEdge long shot in this situation. The 5 horse look. I'm going to watch that race. That 5 horse looks phenomenal. I can't wait to see that horse run. But let's see what happens at Santa Anita. Are you watching Santa Anita at all?
I was gonna pull it up. Did they go?
Yeah. Okay, the 5's going to win the race. So that's the horse that came from behind. I think it was the second favorite. But listen, we identified that the favorite was going to be, vulnerable, right?
Was the 5? Was that? I'm flipping back over. That was. Oh yeah, that was. Yeah, ended up being the second EquinEdge pick. Okay.
Yeah, and then I think who got third? It might have been the 7, Silver and Black. But look, we identified that maybe the 3 was vulnerable. I love that. Because look at the money this horse has burned. All you have to do is you look and see the horse is being bet constantly, has good win percentages. I mean, was 39% last time out. This field seems a little bit tougher, and this is just a money burning sumbitch.
Yeah, it's crazy that horse ended up going off at 2-1, but I'm with you.
Yeah, no, this horse needs 20,000 claimers is what it needs. I can't wait to watch that horse run. Honestly, that 5 horse in race number 8 at Churchill. Amazing.
1-5.
What's up, oldie?
Brother, welcome.
1-5 right now on this 5. I'm surprised this horse is only 21%, honestly.
I know that is pretty wild. I mean,
which makes me lean towards the EquinEdge picks then, because I like that. I like maybe the EquinEdge picks have it right. Maybe do 5 over a 2-6 exacta, and then maybe do a trifecta 5-2-6. Somewhere I try to mix these things in. What about the 3 horse has a really nice GSR?
Yeah, Ricardo for Brissett.
Those are nice numbers. Look at these numbers. This is a horse you would pay big money for, and horses like this in the 80s. I mean, that 3 horse could be completely live.
This is a good group of fillies. It'll be curious to see where this 5, if it's the real deal, where it ends up this summer, to be honest.
So let's talk about the 3 real quick. Peacock last, and then I gotta go after this. But if you look, the win on the turf last time out was 1% to win and only lost by 4.5 lengths against a 76 GSR group and a 63. SOR group and a 63 GSR. Now goes up to 16%, going from a 76 SOR to a 62 SOR and a 63 GSR to a 77. And this horse is 19 to 1.
Look at, you want to read my note on this horse from its Keeneland race 2 back?
Thank you, Linda. Which one?
The 3 Peacock
Okay.
last. Look. We covered this horse on the show. So I said, should be going 2 turns. Please send screenshot to Brissett. So, but he still has not put this horse back on 2 turns.
No, this horse, he's wrong on this. Like, this horse wants to go long, absolutely go long. So, but I mean, that's a horse to look at. What about the 12? This horse is 48 to 1. It's 16% to win, and it's 9 to 1 on the EquinEdge morning line, and has the 3rd best GSR. And this horse is 47 to 1.
Well, the 2 is another one. Look at the 2, man. So the 2 to me is a bet for anybody, even if you bet the 5, because Scotty, this horse is 6% in the second EquinEdge pick, and it's 8 to 1 on the EquinEdge morning line, and you're getting 59 to 1.
I know, this is how I'm playing it. I'm doing 5 over 2, 3, 6, the EquinEdge long shot, 11, 12. I'm going to try to beat the 8 horse. I'm going to try to beat it, knowing that it's a contender. Although to me, it doesn't look that great. It got a 2nd place finish 2 back at Oaklawn Park against a similar group. And I think that's what people are betting this horse off of. That's what I think they're doing. And it broke its maiden really nicely, no doubt about it. And then they put it up at last time out, and it was backing up quickly. It could be getting over bet. So 5 over 2, 3, 6, 11, 12. I'm going to do that in the trifecta.
So for 50 cents, 5, 2, 3, 6, 11, 12, 5, 25, 12.50, I think, is what that would come out to. If I did my math.
Let's see
right.
here. Wager.
5.
Trifecta. 5 over 2, 3, 6, 11, 12. Over 2, 3, 6, 11, 12. Okay, for $1, it's $20.
Oh, so $10. Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to come back with an exacta. 5 with 2, 3, 6, 11, 12. Now, that's a lot of horses to cover, but I think what you can do in that case, and I'm not looking, but you can look to see what the will pays are in these exactas. But like, there's only one horse getting bet. That's the 8, other than the 5. So maybe, I mean, you beat this 8 horse for 2nd, and you beat it for 2nd and 3rd. I'm sure that horse is being keyed in people's spots. So something to look at. But I'm really looking forward to this 5. In fact, I'm going to follow this horse as well. But all right, my man. Hey, listen, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really nice. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate. Thanks for having me on. Thank you, Oldie, as well, for letting me fill in for you. And appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you soon. Okay?
Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming.
Okay, you got it. I'll see you later.
All right, y'all. I'll be here for a few more minutes. I got to jump off too here in about 10 minutes, but we will. When is this Churchill race? 10 minutes. So give me 1 second. I got to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. All right. Like the show. Thank you, Lexi. Oldie, good to see you, brother. We'll hang for about another 12 minutes till we watch. So on this Churchill race, in maybe we'll just end up closing out here. We'll listen to it. We won't be able to watch it, but I think the one thing I would say on situations like this, these are the races where I find them highly interesting to bet, because you end up with a horse like this that is, as Scotty said, he's going to follow this horse. I'm very curious to see, in Oldie, since you're here, I don't know if you remember the 3-horse Peacock Glass. And when we took this note, like, it was very brutal, because if you remember, right, we got 14-1 on this horse. I remember this like very vividly when we were covering the show. And I remember writing that note and everything. And the horse still, I mean, he's going 1 turn 8 furlongs, but this horse really wants to go long and go 2 turns. But the point that I was going to make was, Scotty talked about the 8. We could look a little bit there more, but these horses like this that end up having really low win percents are extremely dangerous when they show up in the EquinEdge picks. There was a horse at Turfway Park this past summer when they were, or past, I guess, winter, not summer. We're in the summer. That was running at Turfway Park that was 24-1 and was a very similar situation. And I remember betting, and the horse ended up winning. So what I would say is, I think, Anthony, you were pointing it out on the 5-2. The 5-2 is worth a bet in an exacta. You're getting 100-1 or something. Yeah. And Oldie, we could talk about the 6. I mean, Scotty talked about that, but I think that's where definitely play it. So if something happens to the 5, the 2 and 6 are both very interesting, right? Like, even you just have to, what I do is, you look at this horse, and Landeros is riding for Jeff Hiles. I mean, nobody's going to see this at all. I mean, this horse probably won't even get to 20-1. I would expect that these odds obviously come down quite a bit since this horse took so much early money, but nobody, I mean, I don't even know who this trainer really is. He's probably, he's 16%. You look here, and, the horse was over at Gulfstream and it wins at 58. But, like, why does this horse show up as the second EquinEdge pick as 6%? Because if you keep in mind, the top 2 EquinEdge picks win about 50 to 55% of the time, right? And you look at the win percents, and it's only 6 and 21%. So, and it does play a little bit, Oldie, probably to your comment of the EquinEdge long shot's interesting. But yes, I remember that so vividly on, and sorry, I was on the wrong. No, I was on the right tab. Okay. But that's where I personally, even if you love the 5, and I'm gonna start to pull up the video since we have 8 minutes, definitely bet something on the 2 and or the 6 if you like the 6. Oldie, you talked about the 6. Christian Torres riding, he's still hitting at 20%, which is just incredible. Personal Pursuit here, I think looking at this horse, 20-1, 12-1 on that EquinEdge morning line, won way back here in a 50, and then it's been racing versus tough, right? 70s, 64. So, Oldie, I can see why you like this horse. And, hasn't run great here the last 2, but also stretches back out to 8 furlongs, right? Ran really well at 7 furlongs, scratched the race on the synthetic at Turfway Park a couple months ago. And this horse has the potential to run. So the 5 may just be the real deal. And I would guess that is probably likely the case. But it's not to say, right, that somebody like the 6 or the 2, the EquinEdge picks, aren't going to run well. Yeah, Oldie, right here in the Matreon, well, ran 5th. Ran, it's run well in these stakes races. So from a pace perspective, I still wish this horse would go 2 turns, Peacock last. But, you know, is also from a GSR perspective. I mean, look at this horse. You go and look at its tab. It's in the 80s going 2 turns. You know, I don't, as a trainer, this horse has only gone 2 turns 1 time. I mean, why put this horse on the turf? Like, what was the point of that? Like, I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind, to be honest, why stuff like that happens. But we will see. I mean, the 5 obviously does look like the real deal here. They out on the course yet? Well, they just got out there. So, but again, you know, whether it's the 2 or 6, put a little bit of money on there in some way as well. I would say, you know, you're going to end up getting probably on both horses, I would guess at least around 30 to 1. You could play them with the 5 in an exacta. You could do a little, you know, in those cases, you know, win place might be worth it. I don't play a lot that way, but in a situation like that, you're getting such good value on horses that nobody else is going to see in the 6 or the 2 that, you know, even if you put a few bucks, you know, either one of them get first. And even if you get second, you're still getting, you know, 15 or 20 to 1. So you never know too, right? 5 could stumble, 5, anything can happen. Right. But it definitely looks like the real deal. Oldie, anybody else who you like besides the 6 to pair with the 6 or 5? Yeah, 5-2-6 would be amazing, Anthony. Yeah, $10, Scott. I mean, it's to me, it's worth it in those situations because, you know, even if you do a few bucks, because and then pair them with the 5 though in an exacta, or here's a trifecta for $10, right? That Scotty gave out right before he left, because, you know, and you could play a couple different ways if you really wanted, right? Like, you know, if you're able to narrow it down to a few of those prices, you know, there's such good potential. So this is a nice allowance race. Again, I think it will be interesting where this 5 horse ends up over the summer, right? I mean, obviously, you know, was not even the favorite here and absolutely romps, right? So, you know, the word is out on this horse that it's gonna run well, but at the same time, this is a really, really nice group of allowance 3-year-old fillies that some of these will probably go on, you know, from a GSR to run well, whether that's the 6. Oldie, as you mentioned, has already ran integrated stakes. You know, somebody like the 11, Magical Loot, we didn't talk a lot about, but Ian Wilkes here, Brian Hernandez rides, you know, one last out off the pace, you know, ran a good race first out back in July, you know, and then as a 2-year-old runs again, and then they put on the back to the farm for the winter and then came back and win at Keeneland. So, you know, all of those horses, Imran, race 7 at Woodbine. Let me see. The 1 horse on the pace I thought was interesting. I also thought the 8 Imran was interesting. 8, I think, was one of the top, was the top GSR. Gizmo's Mission, you know, second out. GSR goes down a little bit, but it still stays on the synthetic course. Ran second, you know. Morning Line likes, but at the same time, I thought that the 1 horse Sea to Air was interesting from a pace perspective here. You know, GSR, it goes up to 23%. You know, it has been racing at this SOR, but, you know, and it got an easy lead here. But Gizmo's Mission, I think, would be the horse that is probably the most interesting as the top GSR, going to come off the pace. You know, again, second time out, I think will run a great race. So. Yes, sir. You're welcome. All right, we got 2 minutes. This 5 horse, the 5-2 exacta is 30 to 1. The 5-6 is 20 to 1, oldie. So, you know, you get somebody like the 2-5, you know, if somehow that's happened, you're getting 100 to 1 in the exacta. The 2-6 oldie, or the 6-5's paying 70 to 1. Post time. All right, we'll get the sound on. It's been a pleasure, y'all. I'm glad Scotty got a chance to join. Sure he'll be back. He talked about picking up some shows again. I believe Oldie is back next week. They are approaching the gate there at Churchill Downs. There's the trifecta there. The 1 to 5, trying to get some prices underneath. The 2 horse currently 61 to 1. Just absolutely wild. The second EquinEdge pick, for sure worth a few bucks. And at the same time, Oldie talked about the 6 horse being currently 40 to 1. Both of them just absolute bombers.
One minute.
I'm going to play a little bit more on the 2 horse, the second EquinEdge pick. You know, again, only 6%, but shows up there at a whopping 60 to 1. Yeah, an atomic bomb. That would be amazing, Scott. I mean, any combination of 2, 5, 6 would be amazing, in my opinion. The 2 horse currently 62 to 1. I mean, it's going to end up being one of the probably the longest shot on the board. Live odds. Who do we have? The 9 is the longest at 74 to 1.
And the horses have reached the starting gate. It's post time.
We will find out here shortly. Good luck, everybody. This has been a pleasure today. Looks like about half of them in the gate, about to go.
Waiting for Personal Pursuit.
5 over the 2-6. I like it, Oldie. I saved with a box as well. I don't think Nick doesn't say to toss, but trying to beat that horse.
And they're off. She's looking lucky, bounces out near the top. Peacock Glasses there. Desert Tempest down toward the inside. And from the outside, she's looking lucky. And farther out is Magic Bubbles coming on. Boss Lady Bailey not far behind them as the field races up the chute and heads for the main track. And 3 of them battling for the early lead. In between, she's looking lucky. Down the inside is Peacock Glass. And in the clear is Magic Bubbles right up and on the pace. Boss Lady Bailey comes away in 4th. Desert Tempest settles in toward the rail 5th. Scylla is out in 6th. 3 lengths off the lead with 5 furlongs to go. Divinely Boat following that one. 7th Personal Pursuit over to the inside to be 8th. Destined to Race moving up into 9th, followed by Magical Loot down inside 10th. And Be Here Now's the trailer. The opening quarter in 23 seconds. Flat Sharp half 46 and 1. They're on the far turn and the battle continues up top. Peacock Glass, and she's looking lucky, and Magic Bubbles on the outside. Boss Lady Bailey racing in 4th. Scylla sweeping up on the far outside. 5th and now 4th and coming on strongly. Scylla
2 not going to run.
As they hit the top of the stretch. Peacock Glass heads for home in front, but Scylla sidles up and takes over willingly and easily. Opens up to lead by 3 in just a few jumps. Scylla opening up by 5 now. Peacock last, left behind.
Nobody
with
really
Magic
ran.
Bubbles and everybody else. It will be Scylla. Another
13, I think,
scintillating
going to
effort
get second.
here down to win it by 7. Magic Bubbles.
Well, no trifecta. 13 kind of got up there for, I think got placed. I think the 3 ended up getting third. The 13 at 23-1 was the one that upset there. Yeah. And Bill, I don't know if it tossed the 8. We cut it out, but it didn't matter because we didn't have the 13. All right, y'all. Still for sure the real deal 1-4 there, but it's been a pleasure. Happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the sun wherever you're at, if you have it. I wish everybody luck. Have a good Belmont. I will see you all soon. Oldie will be back next week. Adios.